Hello everyone, so today I'm going to make a short video on Tesla and why I think it's a good time to short Tesla right now. So currently Tesla seemed to have been doing well since March of 2020. It has made an 18x, which is a lot. And recently the stock market hasn't been looking good, so we go ahead and take a look at it. Go ahead and turn on the indicators. This is the Ichimoku cloud indicator, and whenever the stock market breaks across it, it's not a good sign. Usually that means that it wants to continue further down. And if we go ahead and do it without inflation, it's actually pretty severe already. So if you notice, it took a negative 8% drop. I do expect that, given the current economy, we're not really all that stable, and a correction is needed. And Tesla, given that Bitcoin, crypto, as well as the general stock market is not doing too hot, I don't expect Tesla to do all that well either. And Tesla is making a formation where it doesn't look good, and taking a short right here would not be bad. So in this situation, I would take the short, and if I'm wrong, my stop loss would be, I think, up here, because in theory it should more or less not exceed 100 and 1,100. So if you go ahead and put it on the indicators, right? This is the cloud again. So whenever a cloud is broken and it closed below it, it's not a good sign. So we'll go ahead and compare it to other coins that has other stocks. Well, this time I'm going to compare it to coins, where if you do an 18x, it typically doesn't. It's not sustainable. So if we take a look at Dogecoin, right? Remember Dogecoin? It has done 100x. But I think the more important thing is like what to expect on the downside. So right now, let's just keep a mental note of it all. So Dogecoin has moved up quite a bit, but it has dropped 78%. So keep that in mind. Galaxy has moved up 39x. So keep that in mind, and it has dropped 81%. Sand moved up 70x, and this has dropped 71%. Mana 7x, and this has dropped 71%. GameStop, 42x. Just quick dirty math, and it's dropped 73%. Let's not even go here. So more or less, I'm getting around the ballpark that negative 70% or higher. So if we do that right, then we should more or less expect it to be, let's just go ahead and mark it. So let's just say right here, for simplistic, let's just mark it. So in this scenario, what I'll be looking for is, go ahead and draw the Fibonacci. I'll be looking at the 0.618, because normally in these situations, stocks or any sort of investment, TA, they normally like to bounce off of the 0.618. And we're going to go ahead and use this chart because this one removes inflation. So it'll give a more accurate representation of what of using this Fibonacci. So if we go ahead and note the 0.618, and then we go ahead and put on the indicators. Sorry, let me actually remove the indicators. Notice that there's this general trend line here, right? So you'll be looking for this trend line to break, and if you remove inflation, Tesla hasn't gotten to that point yet, but let's just try to make it a little bit better. Let's draw it out. So notice that like we're more or less gonna probably as Tesla is falling, it more or less wants to bounce off of here. So if we do a little bit of estimations like negative 15%, so we'll go ahead and translate that to the actual current price. So negative 15% will be more or less here, right? At $700, around $800. It seems like that's where it wants to bounce. And it has to hold this trend line, and if it doesn't hold this trend line, then more or less it's gonna break down very, very heavily. And given this scenario, it's more or less going to stop. My expectation is that usually a lot of the pause prices stop at each of the Fibonacci. So notice that at this price, it stopped at the 0.441 Fibonacci level. Go ahead and remove this. So my expectation is that given that these type of rise typically does more than 7%, I would expect that Tesla would probably, I would short Tesla and I probably would end the short around here, around $300. So this is where I would short it, end the short around here, wait to see the formation play out, and then more or less enter around 300, longing again. So like if you notice with all of these other asset classes, you know, 0.3, 0.236, and then there's a nice bounce. So my expectation is probably something similar where you will see a 0.236 and you will see somewhat of a bounce. So I would take this short, and if I'm wrong, you know, exit out here, which is quite a bit, but I do think it's worth it. 16% for a you know, 200% rate of return. So that's a good risk to reward ratio in my opinion. So I do think Tesla is worth the short right now. And normally, since it's testing the cloud right now, toward the edge of the cloud, more or less, it's, in my opinion, it's very likely to break given the nature of the entire stock market as well as crypto. I don't think Tesla has a chance of surviving these next couple of days. So let's see on Monday to see how Tesla play out. So if it breaks down to this cloud, it's not a good sign. In my opinion, it will probably do a little quick. It will probably hit this 0.618, bounce a little bit, and then attempt to retest it later on, and then more or less go down. That's my general prediction. If it doesn't turn out that way, you know, you have your general stop loss and stuff like that. So always plan for the contingency. So hopefully you found this video useful, and you guys take care. Goodbye.